Welcome to MRL. In this learning session, we'll be learning about lines and angles and also a few very important terms related to geometry. Now let us understand the first term, that is point. A point is a geometrical entity which has no dimensions. A point is denoted by a dot and identified by writing a capital letter alphabet alongside it, as shown here. So this is this is point, a dot and a capital alphabet written alongside it, and this is how we denote a point, and it is read as point A. A point has a position on a plane and also in space. Now the second important geometrical term is a line. A line is a trace of a point endlessly in either directions. So if I take a point and move it on either ends, on either sides, then we get a line. A line cannot be drawn on a paper. A line has no end points. A line is represented by drawing a part of a line and by putting arrow marks on either sides or on either ends. In the figure, AB is a line. So AB is a part of a line with the arrow marks at its ends represents a line. A line also can be denoted by line L, line M, line N, etc. And also the symbol of line is a small line segment with arrowheads on both the sides, and this is the line AB. Remember that. Now coming to the next important term, that is a ray. A ray is one half of a line. A ray has one end point and extends endlessly in one direction. A ray cannot be drawn on a paper. It is represented by drawing a line with one end point and putting an arrow at the other end, as shown in the figure. So 0 is the one end point here, that is O is the one end point here, and A is the other end point with arrow mark, and OA is the ray, and it is read as ray OA. It is denoted as OA with the arrow mark here. And remember, ray OA and ray AO are not the same. Always the direction of the arrow is the ray, therefore OA is the ray and not AO. Then the next important term is the line segment. Line segment is a part of a line. A line segment has end points. A line segment can be drawn on a paper. A line segment has one dimension, that is length, and it can be measured. The unit of measurement is centimeters or meters. For example, we have a line L here, and AB is a part of a line and AB is the line segment. And the line segment is denoted by writing AB with a small line segment over it. Now here AB with the double-ended arrow, line segment, this is what you call line AB, this is ray AB, and this is line segment AB. Remember that. Now the next important term is collinear points. Three or more points that lie on the same line are called as collinear points. Now here we have a line L, points A, B and C are on the line, and therefore they are collinear points. Now the next term is non-collinear points. Three or more points that are not on the same line are non-collinear. We have a line L here. The points A, B and C are not lying on the same line, and therefore they are non-collinear. Now the next term to understand is the angle. An angle is a coplanar figure. That means an angle which lies on a plane, and it is formed when two rays have a common initial point. We have got the ray OA here, and the ray OB has a common initial point, and one ray, let us say ray OB, it rotates about the initial point describing the angle. The two rays OA and OB are called as the arms of the angle, and the common initial point is called as the vertex of the angle. Remember that. The amount of rotation of one arm or side about the vertex is the measure of the angle. So if the arm OB is rotated from OA, it takes a new position, and that will decide the the angle. The unit of measurement of an angle is degrees. The instrument used to measure an angle is called as a protractor. It is always found in the compass box. The angle is named as angle AOB or angle BOA or angle O, and the symbol of angle is a small tiny angle. This represents the symbol of an angle. Now there are different types of angles. We have got an acute angle. An angle which is the measure of which is less than 90 degrees is called as acute angle. Here the angle AOB is less than 90 and therefore it is an acute angle. Right angle. An angle that measures 90 degrees is a right angle. See, this is angle ABC is 90, therefore it is a right angle. Obtuse angle. An angle which measures more than 90 but less than 180 is known as obtuse angle. Remember that. Now straight angle, an angle which measures 180 degrees is a straight angle. Now here if you observe, angle AOB is 180 degrees, therefore it is a straight angle. An angle which measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees is called as reflex angle. Now we have angle AOB is greater than 180 but less than 360, therefore it is a reflex angle. Then complete angle is an angle the measure of which is 360 degrees. So if I start from OA and rotate it and come back and coincide with the OA, that is OB coincides with OA, so the total angle is 360 degrees and that is called as a complete angle. An angle the measure of which is 0 degrees is called as a zero angle. The rotating arm does not rotate at all, it all coincides with the OB and OA are coinciding. There is no rotation of any of the arms and therefore the angle measured is 0 degrees here. Now coming to the pair of lines. Now we have different types of pair of lines. We have got parallel lines, intersecting lines, perpendicular lines and supplementary rays. Now what are parallel lines? The lines that do not intersect or have a common point are parallel lines. The lines that have a constant distance between them are parallel lines. Now here line L and line M do not intersect, they don't have a common point between them, and also the distance between the corresponding points anywhere is a constant, and such lines are called as parallel lines. Then we have intersecting lines. The lines that have a common point between them are called as intersecting lines. The common point between them is called as a point of intersection. If you look here, AB is a line and CD is a line. Both of them are intersecting at point O, therefore they are called as intersecting lines, and the point O here is called as the point of intersection. Remember that. Now we have got perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are intersecting lines, but the angle between the lines is 90 degrees. So we have got AB and CD which are intersecting at point O, but the angle BOD is 90 degrees, or the angle between the lines is 90 degrees, therefore they are called as perpendicular lines. Now supplementary rays. If we have two rays opposite to each other, that means we have got a ray OA here and a ray OB here, the angle between the two rays is 180 degrees, and such rays are called as supplementary rays. Now pair of angles. Now the first pair is complementary angles. Two angles are complementary if their sum is 90 degrees. Rather, if we have two angles 30 degrees and 60 degrees, their sum is 90 degrees, and therefore 30 degrees and 60 degrees are called as complementary angles. Rather, 30 degrees is the complementary angle of 60, 60 degrees is the complementary angle of 30. Remember that. Now supplementary angles. Two angles are supplementary if their sum is 180 degrees. Now consider an example here. 120 degrees plus 60 degrees is 180 degrees. That means 120 plus 60 is 180. Therefore they are supplementary angles. Rather, 60 degrees is the supplementary angle of 120 and 120 is the supplementary angle of 60 degrees. Sum should be 180. Now adjacent angles. Two angles are adjacent if the angles have a common vertex and a common arm. For example, here angle AOB and angle BOC have a common vertex O and they have a common arm OB, and therefore angle AOB and angle BOC are adjacent angles. Now let us understand what is a linear pair. Two angles form a linear pair if the angles are adjacent. The sum of adjacent angles is 180 degrees. Now if you look here, angle AOC and angle BOC are adjacent angles because they have a common vertex and they have a common arm, but the sum of the two angles is 180 degrees here, and therefore the angles AOC and BOC are linear pair or form a linear pair. Remember that. So two adjacent angles form a linear pair if their sum is 180 degrees. Vertically opposite angles. Two intersecting lines form four angles at the point of intersection, or two pairs of vertically opposite angles as shown in the figure. Now we have AB is a line, CD is another line, they intersect at point O. Four angles are formed, and angle 1 and angle 2 are called as vertically opposite angles. Angle 3 and angle 4 are called as vertically opposite angles. Therefore two pairs of vertically opposite angles are formed, and very interestingly the vertically opposite angles are equal. That is, angle 1 is equal to angle 2 and angle 3 is equal to angle 4. Remember that. Now sign convention for angles. Angles measured in anti-clockwise direction is positive angle. So if you measure the rotating arm moves from OA in the anti-clockwise direction, takes the position OB, then we find that angle AOB is positive. So therefore angles measured in anti-clockwise direction is a positive angle. Angle measured in clockwise direction is a negative angle. So when the rotating arm moves downwards here in the clockwise direction, the angle POQ is negative. Linear pair axioms. Now we already know what is an axiom. An axiom is that which is accepted without a statement which is accepted without discussion or proof. Now axiom number 1, if a ray stands on a line, then the sum of adjacent angles formed is 180 degrees. The non-common arms of the angles formed are two opposite rays. Now what does this mean to us? Now AB is a line, OC is a ray which stands on AB. The angle AOC and angle BOC which are formed, the sum will be 180 degrees. A very important axiom for us to remember, which is very useful in geometrical calculations. Remember that. Now the axiom number 2, if the sum of two adjacent angles is 180, then the non-common arms of the angles form a line. Now here AB, please understand here very clearly, angle AOC and angle BOC are two adjacent angles because they have a common vertex and common arm. The sum of the two angles is 180, and therefore the OA and OB are the non-common arms, OC is the common arm. The OA and OB, which are the non-common arms, when they form a line or they create a line, because the angle between the angle AOB is 180 degrees. So therefore I have written here angle AOC and angle BOC form two adjacent angles. Angle AOC plus angle BOC is 180 degrees. OA and OB are non-common arms of the adjacent angles. OA and OB form opposite rays at common initial point O. OA and OB together form a line AB. Remember that. Angle at the common initial point of two opposite rays is 180 degrees. A very important axiom, again very useful in calculations.